بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. We said the ta'wil is the opposite of tafsir. Tafsir is the outer meaning and the ta'wil is the inner meaning, deeper meaning. And then we read this ayah last time in Surah Al-Imran, which is ayah number 7. وَمَا يَعْلَمُ تَأْوِيلَهُ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ. And we said, does that mean only God knows the ta'wil of the Qur'an? There are two opinions. One opinion of the minority, it says yes, it's only God. And there are certain concepts of the Quran that even if we try to unfold them, we would not succeed. The other opinion of the majority and Ahlul Bayt also is that no, ta'wil, Allah has given the understanding, the inner understanding and the interpretation of the Quran to specific people, and those specific people are Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the infallible Imams. And let me write from Al-Kafi. Kafi is our main book. In volume 1, page 270, volume 1, عن أبي عبد الله الصادق عليه الصلاة والسلام. Abu Abdullah is the nickname of Imam Sadiq. نحن الراسخون في العلم ونحن نعلم تأويله. We are the one who are deeply versed in knowledge. Rasikh means well versed or deeply versed in knowledge, and we know the ta'wil of the Quran. In another hadith in the same book, Al-Kafi, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam أفضل الراسخين في العلم. He's the best one of those who are well versed. Rasulullah is number one. He's at the top of the list. The other hadith says الراسخون في العلم أمير المؤمنين والأئمة من بعده. والأئمة من بعده. They considered even non-imams like Abdullah ibn Abbas to be one of the rasikhin. He said, I am one of them. Why? Because he's the student of Imam Ali. He's the student of Imam Ali. He taught him the tafsir, so probably he teaches him the ta'wil too. So definitely Allah wants us to understand the book. There is no point in sending a letter or book to a community and they say, you understand 80% of it, 20% you are not going to understand. Why do you put it there? You put it in the book so we understand it. You want me to understand your book. You want me to follow it. And you keep some of it vague. Even the Prophet doesn't know. Even the Imam doesn't know. Maybe I don't know, yes. But at least you teach this to the Prophet. Because the Prophet, his job is what? We said it the first day. What does the Quran say about him? وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الذِّكْرَ لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ. لِتُبَيِّن. تُبَيِّن, to elucidate, to show, to translate. So if the Prophet cannot do bayan, then who can? What's the point of sending these ayat or these terms if the Prophet himself doesn't know? So definitely, the Quran, the ta'wil of the Quran, definitely not just God knows, God, the Prophet and the Imams. Those are al-rasikhuna fil ilm. Now, the second concept is the tafsir fixed or we can derive it too.
Like per ayah, I mean?
Meaning, is it already derived and you have to go and follow the book? Or no? If you follow the steps and you have the tools, you can derive the tafsir too. If you follow the rules. Which one?
If the tafsir is not clear, you mean? I mean, why would we need to do the second part if it's clear?
Does it mean that the tafsir is just a book, so you have to memorize this book in order for you to be mufassir? Or no, you don't have to memorize. There are steps.
Yeah.
You follow them. Give you an example. You are a doctor, okay? Do you memorize the book and then the patient comes to you and then you open the book? Okay, he has a pain and whatever, so I have to. Or no, you can ask him, you read the book already, but you also use your intuition, your intelligence, your analysis, your understanding, your diagnosis, and then you tell him.
Yeah.
Do they teach you a process to reach to the answer, or you have to memorize something? Which one?
It's both, but a process.
It's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process. It's a method. Methodology. They teach you the methodology. Tafsir also has a methodology. If you follow it, if you follow the methodology, you reach to the answer. Now, we have two groups. One group was from the old days, after the life of the Prophet ﷺ, and also now, ancient and contemporary, who said, we don't dare to translate the Quran unless I heard it from the Prophet. If I heard it from the Prophet, then I can tell you what is the meaning. If not, I can't use my brain because I am too afraid of making a mistake. There were some people like that. Unless he hears it directly from the Prophet, he says, I don't know. He doesn't use his intelligence. Why? Sometimes, meaning that 1 plus 1, how much is it? 2. He says, I have to hear this from the Prophet. If I don't hear from the Prophet, I can't give you the answer. I cannot use my brain to tell you 1 plus 1 is 2. I can't, sorry. There is one group like that. And you can see many stories on this. One of them, Suyuti and Tabari, two top-notch Sunni interpreters, mufassirin, exegists, Tabari and Suyuti. They say, Umar was asked about وَفَاكِهَةً وَأَبَّا وَفَاكِهَةً وَأَبَّا مَتَاعًا لَكُمْ وَلِأَنْعَامِكُمْ. We sent فاكهة, fruit, and Abba. Abban. Okay? So he was someone in the masjid, he said, Sir, Ya Khalifa, what is the meaning of Abba? I don't know. Not only he said to him, I don't know. He said to him, you don't have the right to ask. Whatever you know, good luck. You know. If you don't know, don't ask. Nuhina. I'm telling you, these are top-notch Sunni interpreters. They write it in their book. He said to him, Nuhina, we have been forbidden عن التكلف في كتاب الله. Takalluf is to exert your energy to understand. Take it easy. Whatever you understand, you understand. Whatever you don't understand, leave it. Don't do takalluf. Don't spend energy.
Even the Tadween and the Hadith, they...
Yes. So, but this is not the case. God says, ليتدبروا آياته كتاب أنزلناه مبارك ليتدبروا. We want them to reflect. We want them to understand the meaning. You have to go and search. You have to go and ask. Use your intelligence. And believe me, if you use your intelligence in this specific verse, which is in, فأنبتنا فيها حبا وعنبا وقضبا until وفاكهة وأبا. Okay? Surah Abbas. This is Surah Abbas. Go and check it out. If you follow it, it gives you the meaning. وفاكهة. See? وفاكهة وأبا. And then it says متاعا لكم وَلِأَنْعَامِكُمْ. So فاكهة is the food for you. متاع means food for you. Ab is for your an'am, your animals. Very, very simple formula. Read it, reflect on it, you find it. You don't have the Prophet, you don't have to, for the Prophet to tell. It's like this. You don't need the Prophet to tell you the answer is 2. Prophet says use your brain. فَفَاكِهَةً وَأَبَّا. مَتَاعًا لَكُمْ is the food for you, فاكهة. You eat the fruit. Your an'am, this is the food for the animals. Food for the animals is an abban. He said, no, I can't. Don't ask me about this. Too complicated. So tafsir does not mean that you have to hear it. Sometimes, yes, you have to hear it, and sometimes use your intelligence. God is speaking to you, not just to the Prophet. This is your book. He sent it to you, so you use your aql, your brain, to understand it. Okay? But this is different from what, my friends? Now, maybe one of you would tell me, but Sayyid, listen, Sayyid. Didn't you say in the past that the Prophet, he threatened the community that if you do tafsir of the Quran with your ra'i, your own opinion, then you have to reserve your seat in Jahannam, in the hell. What is the difference? Can you address this?
That's for people the asbab for that was for people they were trying to divert people.
No, this is, you are saying the right, meaning you are putting your word at the same level
Against the fact.
Again.
See, I cannot say this is 1 + 1 is my ra'i. No, this is fact. This is not my opinion. There is no other answer. If they ask you, all of you say 2. If I say 1 + 2 is, I think it's 5, then this is my opinion. If I say it's 5. I'm using my ra'i, my personal opinion, but this is not personal opinion. This is personal opinion, which is wrong. This is not personal, this is fact. This is fact. So the Quran says, sometimes the Quran speaks simple. We all understand it's a fact. It cannot have a different answer, impossible. It cannot have a different answer. Okay? When it says aqimus salat, when you bring someone who studied Arabic literature, he says aqimus salat, establish prayers. It means prayers is mandatory. So establish the prayers. Wa'atu zakat, if you ask someone who has reasonable knowledge of Arabic literature, he knows pay the taxes, pay the dues, the almsgiving. Normal. Okay? But when you say your own opinion, you manipulate the Quran, which is baseless. You don't have an evidence from the book itself, neither from the hadith. You say, I think God is trying to say this and that and that. Then this is dangerous. But not about the facts. Not about something that, even if I didn't hear it from the Imam or the Prophet, this is a fact. This is common sense. They call it common sense. So not the entire Quran requires the Prophet to teach each and every, to interpret each and every, because some of it is common sense, we understand it. But sometimes it goes above our understanding, then we have to follow the Prophet there. So that is the difference between tafsir bil ra'i, where you give your own personal opinion which is baseless. It has no basis. Or stating the fact. Are you with me? That is the difference. Therefore, let me ask you the question again. Is the tafsir, ilm al-tafsir, the science of tafsir, is it tawqifi, meaning you must hear it from the Prophet, or no? It is a reasonable science that sometimes you can get it, even if you did not hear the Prophet saying the interpretation. You can get the understanding because it's common sense. Which one? First or second?
Second.
Second, definitely second. Definitely second.
Otherwise, we will just be reading the Quran and that's it.
And not understanding. So definitely it is the second. But however, the second also, it has to be according to rules and regulations. So someone who does not understand Arabic, can he interpret the Quran? He cannot. Number one, you have to understand Arabic, you have to understand the grammar, you have to understand literature, you have to understand the language of 1400 years ago. What was their language? Because some of their jargons are different from now. So we have to go back to that era, the era where the Quran arrived, to see some of the jargons used, some of the darbul mathal, the proverbs used, because the Quran would use, for instance, وَلَا يُنَبِّئُكَ مِثْلُ خَبِيرٍ. This is darbul mathal, the Quran is saying it, because that was common. No one can tell you the right answer except the expert khabir. This is an ayah in the Quran, and at the same time, darbul mathal. People would use it. Now, even now, they say, وَلَا يُنَبِّئُكَ مِثْلُ خَبِيرٍ. No one can tell you the exact answer like the expert. So we have to go back to that era and see yad. When the Quran speaks about the yad of God, what did they mean at that time? How was the yad used? Only the physical, the limb, or something else? When we go, we find no, not just the physical called yad. The power is called yad too. Ulil aydi wal absar. They had aydi. Aydi means might, power, authority. The same thing with arsh. Arsh, not necessarily physical chair. Arsh means authority. He's at the top of the arsh, means he's at the top of the country. He's in charge. Okay? Even now. Now they say in Jordan, in these countries where there are kings, they say the diwan, ad-diwanul malaki, asdara amran. Diwan al-malaki issued a verdict. What does it mean, diwan? Diwan, simple language, it means the whole. But here it means the king. The king. It's a reference to the king. Or in Iran, at the beginning of revolution, they say Bait. Do you remember? What was Bait? No. Bait. Revolutionaries. انقلابیون اینو میگفتن. After the revolution. When they, especially Sepah and those, Bait.
The house. I mean the power, the authority.
It means the office of Imam Khomeini. Bait Allah.
Oh, Beit Allah.
Bait. Bait means, basic meaning, it means house. But here in this context, at that time, among those people, those circle, it means the house of Imam Khomeini. Bait. They don't say the whole sentence. They just say Bait. So if you are not within that circle, you don't know what they are. You think they are speaking about a house. But it's not a house. It's Imam Khomeini. Bait farmudan. The Bait said this. They said that. You have to be among that. So if you want to do tafsir of the Quran, you have to know the language of that time. Their jargons, their specific or special language that they used to understand what God is trying to say.
Is there a branch of that study? Like it's a study of its own?
Definitely, ulum al-Quran, they study that. Definitely, they study the jargons of that time.
Everybody's required to study?
I mentioned some of the books. If you remember last year, there are many books, they carry this title, غريب القرآن. غريب القرآن. غريب, it means the unusual terms. Unusual terms of the Quran. Unusual terms. So they go back to that era to find, what does this mean? This term, what does it mean during that language, not this language, not the contemporary one? Okay? Now, so even the companions of the Prophet, they took care of the tafsir from early days, the time of the Prophet, to understand the terminology of the Quran, okay, methodology of the Quran, expressions of the Quran, okay, the balagha, the eloquence of the Quran. They studied that. And the top mufassir at that time was Imam Ali alayhi salam. Of course, Imam Ali, everything the Prophet said, everything, again in the Kafi, God ordered the Prophet, everything you learn from me, you have to teach it to Ali. Everything, with no exception. So they say, though one of them is student, the other is teacher, but their knowledge was equal. Muhammad, ilm Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and ilmu Amir al-Mu'mineen. Because this teacher, he taught everything to the student. He transferred everything to the student. He left nothing that the student was not aware of. Okay? So Imam Ali alayhi salam was the first mufassir of the Quran. After that, Abdullah ibn Abbas. Of the companions, we are speaking about the companions of the Prophet. The first one, Imam Ali. The second one, Abdullah ibn Abbas. And then, after that, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Also, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud was the top mufassir. Sa'id ibn Jubair. And others, of course. There are others. Some people consider Ubay ibn Ka'ab, Zayd ibn Thabit. But the top one was Imam Ali alayhi salam. And then, my friends, Ibn Abbas had a nickname, Ibn Abbas. Abdullah ibn Abbas, his nickname was what? Abdullah ibn Abbas, his nickname is Tarjuman al-Quran, the translator, the interpreter of the Quran.
So he was Imam Ali's cousin, right?
Yes, first cousin of the Prophet and Imam Ali. Now, my friends, in the Quran, there are two types of ilm, two main types of ilm, I should say. Two main types of ilm in the Quran. Two main types. One of them is ilmul i'tiqad. The second is ilmul amal. Ilmul al-i'tiqad, the ideology. Ilmul al-amal. So this one is faith. And this one is what? Deeds. One of them is faith. The second is deed. So, the first one, definitely it's about faith. Faith in what? Faith in God. Monotheism, Nubuwwah, angels, previous scriptures, previous prophets and messengers. This is part, or the day of judgment. These are all part of Aqeedah, ideology, faith.
I'm sorry, 2000 Alim?
Yes.
2000 Alim.
One of them is about ideology. The second is about the deeds. So the ideology encompasses monotheism, prophethood, day of judgment, previous prophets, angels, previous books. Okay? This is many of the verses of the Quran, they discuss this. Iman. The second type of ilm discusses what? Amal al-salih or amal. Ibadat. Many of them are ibadat. Many of them are mu'amalat, dealings. It comes to earth. There's many verses that speaks about inheritance, earth. Speaks about marriage, there is a whole chapter called divorce, talaq. Even child custody, even nursing, they are mentioned in the Quran. And they both supplement each other and complement each other. And they are mentioned in the Quran. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ طُوبَى لَهُمْ وَحُسْنُ مَآبٍ. Always the Quran speaks about both. آمَنوا, which is faith, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. So they both complement each other. Now, what are the foundational requirements in a mufassir? In order to be a mufassir, what type of classes you have to take? Number one, write them down. I would not write them. I will just mention them. Okay? Number one, علم اللغة, لغات, language. Number one is language. Vocabulary. You have to know the meanings of the words. This is number one. Okay? Number two, اشتقاق. Ishtiqaq, it means the relationship of the words with each other. The relationship of the words with each other. Number three, grammar. Ishtiqaq. Yeah. Ishtiqaq. This is lugha. Number one is lugha. Number two is ishtiqaq. Number three is nahu. Nahu means grammar. You have to know the grammar. What is past? What is a present? What is a future? What is absolute term? What is mubtada? What is khabar? Which sentence comes? Is this conditional sentence or not? Definitely you have to know. Give you an example of conditional sentence. If you don't know grammar, you would not understand the verse. You will misinterpret the verse. Where is it? In Surah Yusuf. When the lady was chasing him, the wife of the prime minister, Aziz Misr, Zulaykha, was chasing Yusuf. What does the Quran say? It says, وَهَمَّتْ بِهِ وَهَمَّ بِهَا. If you stop here, then this is a sin. But you have to continue the sentence. Hammat bihi, she had desire for him, and he had desire for her. So if you stop here, and you don't continue the sentence, it means Yusuf had desire in her. But you have to continue the sentence. وهم بها لولا أن رأى برهان ربه. It's a conditional. If it wasn't لولا to put condition. لولا امتناعية. They say it didn't happen. امتناع. When لولا is used, if I say علي لولا أنت طالب جيد لطردتك. If you were not a good student, I would have kicked you out. But it means because you are a good student, so I didn't kick you out. لولا. Okay? So the Quran says لولا أن رأى برهان ربه. If he had not seen the burhan of his Lord, he would have had desired. But because he saw the burhan. What is the burhan here, my friends? What is the interpretation of burhan?
Here?
Yeah, but what is the ta'wil of it? Ta'wil. Reason is the tafsir. Huh? Isma. If it wasn't for the protection from his Lord, protecting him, he would have inclined towards her. He would have desired her and responded to her. Lawla, if it wasn't for. Lawla, if it wasn't for. But because he saw the burhan of his Lord, which is the isma, he did not have desire. He ran away. He ran away. So you have to study grammar. You have to study grammar. If you don't study grammar, if you don't know how the sentence is structured in Arabic, then you're going to be in trouble. So this third thing is, what is it? Nahu. What is number 4, my friends? What is it, Ali?
I don't have any. Can I borrow?
Yeah, of course. You have this one here. Give you this one. This one. No, keep it. My friends, number 4 is al-qira'at. Such as what? How the Quran is pronounced, qara'. Because some people say Maliki yawmiddin. Some of them they say Maliki yawmiddin. Is it Maliki yawmiddin or Malik? Different, and meaning is different. Malik is honor. Malik is the king. How do you pronounce it? Okay? Or
Jannati or Jannah.
yeah. Someone illiterate, he was saying Quran is perfect, but with one time Allah said something not appropriate. They said, how? He said Allah said, Ya naru kuni. Kuni bardan wa salam. Kuni is not good. In Farsi, kuni has a bad meaning. So don't say it in Iran. When you are in Iran, don't say it. But kuni in Arabic is nothing wrong with it. Kuni, be, oh fire, be bardan wa salama. Be cold and cool upon Ibrahim. So this man, he said the entire Quran is perfect except one time God said something not good, the F word. So
What does he think of Kun Fayakun?
again, quz wala quz. So you have to know the qira'at. How do you pronounce? The pronunciation. Because sometimes the reading gives a different. I have a professor, American professor, one time he said, I had a student who came to me, he said, I finished, take the shit. He meant the sheet, but he was just fresh off the boat, So sometimes the pronunciation makes a big difference, makes a big difference. So you have to know the qira'at. No one can become a mufassir without knowing the qira'at. This is number 4. What is number 5? Asbabun nuzul. 5. This is very important. Now, why did this verse arrive and when? What circumstances? Again we have to know. Though we said in the past that sometimes we cannot confine ourselves only to the occasion of descent, we can stretch it. But at least we have to know why this verse came. Why? And where and how. We have to understand this.
So that's the starting point.
Yeah?
Is it the same as Sha'n al-Nuzul that they
Yes. Ahsan. Sha'n al-Nuzul. Ahsan. Number 6. What did the Prophet said? An-Nabi. The sayings of the Prophet. An-Nabi. Because some of these verses, the Prophet, when it came, not some of them, all of them, he has an opinion about it. He had to explain it. Like Aqimus Salat. How do we do Aqimus Salat, Ya Rasulullah? How? Teach it me. So the Prophet, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. The way I did it, follow me. So we have to know what the Prophet said about it. How did he interpret it? Here I cannot say my opinion. Oh, I know the Salat, I can figure it out. No. Here tawqifi. Tawqifi means ta'abbudi. Means it is
compulsory?
not compulsory, specific ruling, specific. So you cannot invent, you cannot assume, you cannot interpret it yourself. You have to follow the rules. Tawqifi, ta'abbudi. This is number 6. Number 7, what is 7? In the Quran we have nasikh and mansukh, we have am and khas, we have mutlaq and muqayyad. Some ayah came for 2 months, 3 months, 2 years, and then it was abrogated. Nasikh and mansukh. Such as what? They say there are 133 verses in the Quran that are abrogated. They are no longer, they exist in the book, but ruling, they don't exist anymore. They ceased. They were abrogated, cancelled, the ruling of them. Such as what? Such as they committed, a woman who commits adultery, she's married, okay? And she commits adultery, the husband has to confine her into the house until she dies. She cannot leave the house anymore. But then it was removed. Then there was the capital punishment. There is a punishment. So you don't have to keep her in the house.
Oh, you mean it still states it in the Quran, but we don't...
Exactly. The word is there. The ayah is in the Quran, but the ruling does not. This is called mansukh, abrogated. So you have to know which one is abrogated. For instance, some people argue that hitting women, ضرب, فَضْرِبُوهُنْ, in the Quran, Surah An-Nisa, this has been abrogated. Some claim. Others, they say, no, it's not. Still there. There is a disagreement. Or which one is am and which one is khas. Sometimes the verse, zakat. Sometimes khums. Khums is khas. Zakat is general term for taxation. Khums is the monetary, the income that you generate. The income that you generate, you have to pay the khums. So am and khas. Or mutlaq and muqayyad. Sometimes the ayah is open, absolute. Sometimes it is restricted only to this situation. Okay? So,
What's that called, that whole?
this is called usul al-fiqh. Ilm usul al-fiqh. Because we study this in usul al-fiqh. Okay? Number 8, that was number 7, huh?
Yes.
That was number 7. 7, usul al-fiqh. 7, usul al-fiqh. Number 8, adab. There are adab in the Quran. The etiquettes, the science of etiquettes and the protocols in the Quran. There is 9. 9 is al-fiqh. There are the rulings in the Quran. Ayatul ahkam. See, they call it ayat, my friends, ayat al-ahkam. They say they are about 500 ayah in the Quran that they give verdicts and rulings, what is halal and what is haram. 500 verses. You have to know them. You have to know these things. Then, also they say ilmul kalam. You have to understand, number 10, ilmul kalam, which is philosophy. Because when it comes to monotheism or theology, we call it in America theology. What is monotheism? Tawheed. Tawheed with that begins. And then we have wahidiyya and ahadiyya. What is the difference between them? قل هو الله أحد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. They are different with each other. One of them is unique. He's unique. One of them, he has no match, no similarity. One of them that he is not made of parts or components. His ذاته بسيطة. His essence is simple, is not structured. This is قل هو الله أحد. Ahadiyya means his structure is simple, is not made of components. The last one, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Wahidiyya, it means he's unmatched. He has no similarity. Nothing like unto him. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. One of them is wahidiyya, one of them is ahadiyya. We have to know. This falls under number 10. So we have to understand. Last and not least, my friends, this is very important, number 11. What is number 11? Can you guess? What is number 10?
Anything to do with other religions, like understanding other religions?
No. With other religions, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. Yeah, you said something?
Yes, that'd be rational.
Of course he has to have aql, but something above aql,
Ijtihad,
above reason, huh?
mujtahid,
Oh, we spoke. This is about ijtihad, this one.
How about iman or taqwa?
You are close.
Arif.
He has to be gifted. Mawhiba, they call it mawhiba. Mawhibat. Mawhiba. Al-mawhiba. Meaning that, my friends, Wa'izi, look at me, Ali. These are the external factors. Anyone can read them and become an expert. Even an American, German. I know I attended a conference. He was a German professor. He's not a Muslim. He studied all these. Believe me. But number 11 is special. Number 11 is God-given. Special talent. He has to be gifted. So when he looks into the ayah, he penetrates. He has inner vision. And this does not come through going to college. This comes through piety, through taqwa. The Quran says, if you fear God, يَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ فُرْقَانًا. يَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ فُرْقَانًا. He will provide you with a criterion. Furqan means criterion. Criterion of what? You can distinguish between haqq and batil, between truth and falsehood, between right and wrong. You can find your way through Furqan. Inner light. This is inner light. And it is mentioned in many, many chapters in the Quran. الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. They listen, but they follow the best. Why they follow? God has gifted them. They know the way. Another verse in the Quran, وَهُدُوا إِلَى الطَّيِّبِ مِنَ الْقَوْلِ وَهُدُوا إِلَى صِرَاطِ الْحَمِيدِ. They are guided to at-tayyib, the best of the speech, the best of thinking, the best of analysis, the best of understanding. These are God-given gifts. Someone like Said Muhammad Hussein Tabatabai is gifted. He definitely is gifted. He's not similar to his peers. He's not. Many people studied with him, same class, same school, same madrasa, but he's gifted. When you look at his tafsir of the Quran, wow, where does he bring this from? When he makes comparisons, when he analyzes, gift. It's a gift. Definitely it's a gift. I've read many tafasir. Some of them are really shallow. It's not worth you spend half an hour on that book. Shallow. He doesn't have that gift. And he calls himself Mufassir. Not Mufassir. Mufassir, this is on one side, from 1 to 10, this is on the other side. And maybe this one has more weight than these things. These are external factors. This is an internal factor. It's God-given, mawhiba. Mawhiba that God bestows on certain people. They can get the sentence. They can get the understanding of the Quran. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. Definitely